$32 billion. Gone. Evaporated in exactly 192 hours. It wasn't a bank robbery, and it wasn't a market crash. It was the fastest, most devastating financial collapse in modern history, orchestrated from a luxury penthouse in the Bahamas. This is the story of how a 29-year-old completely fooled Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and millions of regular investors. In 2019, a new cryptocurrency exchange emerged, promising to fix a broken, untrustworthy system. Its name was FTX. While competitors operated in the gray areas of finance, FTX marketed itself as the safe, regulated, and adult choice in the room. The strategy worked flawlessly. Within 2 years, it wasn't just a platform, it was an empire. Sports arenas bore its name, celebrities endorsed it on national television, and institutional investors poured billions without asking the right questions. The illusion shattered on November 2nd, 2022. A leaked balance sheet revealed a terrifying truth. FTX's sister trading firm, Alameda Research, wasn't built on independent assets. It was propped up by billions of dollars of a token invented by FTX itself. It was a financial house of cards built on monopoly money. When a rival executive announced he was liquidating his position, a historic bank run began. Customers rushed to withdraw their funds, only to discover the ultimate betrayal. Their money was not there. The question wasn't just where the money went, but how it left in the first place. The answer lay in a secret backdoor built directly into FTX's custom accounting software. This hidden channel allowed Alameda Research to siphon unlimited funds from FTX customers without triggering any internal safety or risk alerts. While millions of retail investors believed their life savings were sitting safely in secure digital vaults, the capital was actually being actively funneled out the back door to cover Alameda's catastrophic trading losses. It was a digital heist of unprecedented scale, executed completely silently through thousands of lines of code. The stolen capital did not simply vanish into the blockchain, it materialized into real estate. While the balance sheets were bleeding, the FTX executive circle was living in an isolated bubble of unimaginable wealth in the Bahamas. Corporate funds were routinely used to purchase luxury beachfront penthouses, private flights, and millions of dollars in personal expenses. It was a frat house operating a multi-billion-dollar financial institution. The lines between corporate capital and personal bank accounts were completely erased. Employees were encouraged to use company money for lavish dinners and international deliveries via private planes. This wasn't just corporate mismanagement. It was a systemic culture of absolute impunity, funded entirely by the deposits of ordinary people who believed they were investing in the future of finance. The music stopped abruptly in early November. As the true nature of Alameda's balance sheet spread, panic set in. In a desperate attempt to save the sinking ship, the founder turned to his biggest rival, Binance, begging for a bailout. A rescue deal was briefly announced, but less than 24 hours later, Binance walked away, citing mishandled customer funds and pending government investigations. The death spiral was irreversible. On November 11, 2022, FTX filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The $32 billion empire was officially reduced to zero. Hours later, a sudden and mysterious hack drained hundreds of millions from the remaining wallets, adding a final layer of chaos to the devastating collapse. The fallout was immediate and ruthless. A month after the collapse, authorities raided the Bahamian penthouse. The former golden boy of crypto was arrested and extradited to the United States in handcuffs. But federal prosecutors didn't have to build their case alone. Facing decades in prison, his inner circle immediately turned state's witness. They pleaded guilty to fraud and agreed to cooperate with the government. The subsequent investigation revealed that customer funds hadn't just bought island real estate. They had been illegally funneled into tens of millions of dollars in dark political donations, to buy influence in Washington. It was a masterclass in deception, exposing how the entire operation was essentially an old-fashioned embezzlement scheme masked by complex cryptocurrency jargon. The trial of Sam Bankman-Fried commenced in October 2023, capturing the attention of the global financial sector. Over the course of a month, prosecutors systematically dismantled the defense's narrative of mere incompetence. Key witnesses, including former executives and his closest confidants, testified that Bankman-Fried explicitly directed them to alter code, falsify balance sheets, and funnel customer money to Alameda Research. The defense argued that he was an overwhelmed entrepreneur who simply lost track of risk management during a period of hypergrowth. However, the paper trail of encrypted messages, backdated documents, and lavish spending proved otherwise. On November 2nd, exactly 1 year after the initial CoinDesk article triggered the collapse, the jury reached a verdict. After only a few hours of deliberation, he was found guilty on all 7 counts of wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering. 5 months later, the judge handed down a definitive sentence: 25 years in federal prison, marking one of the harshest penalties for white-collar crime in recent decades. But while the legal system delivered a swift resolution, the financial wreckage left behind presented a much more complex challenge. The recovery process was handed over to John J. Ray III, the veteran executive who previously managed the infamous Enron bankruptcy. Upon taking control, Ray testified before Congress that he had never seen such a complete failure of corporate controls in his entire career. He described a chaotic environment where expenses were approved with custom emojis on instant messaging apps, and billions of dollars in assets were completely untraceable. Against all odds, the restructuring team spent the next 2 years painstakingly clawing back assets, selling off real estate, and recovering venture capital investments. By the first quarter of 2024, they announced a surprising development. They had recovered enough capital to repay the vast majority of retail customers. However, these repayments were calculated based on the rock-bottom cryptocurrency prices at the exact moment of bankruptcy, meaning investors missed out on the subsequent massive market rally, losing millions in potential gains. The fall of FTX serves as a permanent, multi-billion-dollar warning regarding the dangers of centralized power in unregulated financial markets. It exposed the extreme vulnerability of an industry built on absolute trust and opaque technology. The era of blind faith in crypto prodigies ended abruptly in a Bahamian penthouse, leaving behind a legacy of shattered portfolios and a permanent stain on the digital asset revolution. If you found this investigation valuable, please leave a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of high finance and corporate collapses. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss our next case study. Thank you for watching.